Right. So today we're going to be taking a deep dive into Gigi Yim.
Okay.
And, she's a cantopop star, and we have all this great source material.
Yes, we do.
From you guys, our listeners.
Yeah.
Including Wikipedia, YouTube videos, even news articles.
Mm.
And we're really hoping to take a closer look at her career so far.
Right.
And where she might be headed. And honestly, some of this stuff is super interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Did you know that her stage name was chosen by a feng shui master?
Oh, yeah.
It's quite a story.
Very common in Hong Kong entertainment.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of people believe that names and dates and even like the placement of furniture can influence luck and success in their careers.
That's interesting. So it's like more than just aesthetics. It's like a whole cultural belief system.
Absolutely. It's very deeply rooted. And in Gigi's case, it seems that her name change from Wang Gaiyan to Gigi yiminghay was specifically to boost her career.
Talk about starting your career off on the right foot. So who is Gigi Yim?
Well, Gigi Yim was born in Hong Kong in 2005.
Okay.
But her family's roots are in mainland China. She attended St. Antonius Girls' College. Pretty normal upbringing as far as we know. But then at 16 years old in 2021, she enters this reality talent show called Stars Academy and kind of blows everyone away.
Stars Academy, that's a pretty big deal over in Hong Kong, right?
Oh, it's the show to be on if you are an aspiring cantopop star.
All right.
It's produced by TVB, which is like the biggest television network in Hong Kong. It's like their American Idol.
Got it. Okay. So Gigi wins Stars Academy, and then what happens?
And then things kind of really take off.
Okay.
She debuts her first single in September of 2021 called Noble Truth. But what really seems to have like catapulted her to fame was this performance of Without You, But Still Love You during the competition.
Okay.
Which is a Cantonese cover of Beverly Crazen's Promise Me.
Okay.
And it was hugely popular.
I find it interesting that it's a cover of a cover. It went from English to Cantonese, and now she has her own English single, which we'll talk about later.
Right.
It's like she's comfortable navigating all these different musical landscapes.
That's a great observation. Yeah, and maybe that points to a desire to have a wider appeal, for a wider audience. So after Stars Academy, she joins this girl group called After Class.
After Class?
Yeah.
I think I've heard of them. Remind me a little bit about them.
Yeah, so After Class was formed with a few other finalists from Stars Academy, Chantel Yu, Wendy Zahn, and Yumi Chung.
Okay.
And their debut single as a group was Present for Future.
Gotcha.
And she also had a collaboration with Hubert Wu, who's another cantopop star, on a song called Love is Beauty with a Flaw.
So she's collaborating, she's releasing music, she's racking up awards. I mean, what did you find out about her musical style in these early days?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely cantopop, but you can even hear in these early songs that she has a wide range. Like some of them are very poppy and upbeat, and then others are more melancholic. And then there's these interesting collaborations where she gets into different genres.
Right. And her success wasn't just limited to Hong Kong, though, right?
Right.
You mentioned Mainland China a little bit earlier.
Yeah, she actually became super popular in Mainland China.
Yeah.
She has over 1 million followers on Weibo, which is like their version of Twitter.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah.
What do you think contributed to that crossover appeal?
I mean, it's hard to say for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe her music just resonated with mainland audiences, or maybe they were drawn to her personality and her story. She also participated in Infinity and Beyond, which is another singing competition. But this one was organized by both TVB and Hunan Television, which is a major mainland network.
Right.
So that definitely broadened her exposure.
So we have this young, talented artist. She's finding success in Hong Kong and mainland China.
Right.
But then things get a little complicated with her contract with TVB.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay, so let's talk about this contract situation with TVB. What's going on there?
Well, it seems like there has been a shift in her public appearances.
Right.
For example, she was absent from the 2024 TVB Anniversary Gala, which is a major event that she had performed at the previous year.
Right.
And this fueled a lot of speculation about a potential conflict with her contract.
And then there's the Instagram profile change.
Right.
She removed her TVB manager's contact info. And that seemed pretty deliberate.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely added fuel to the fire. And while TVB has denied any conflict and Gigi's manager has been sort of vague in their responses,
Right.
these actions suggest there might be some tension behind the scenes.
Yeah, and what I find really interesting is that Gigi herself has remained completely silent. about the whole thing.
It's actually a smart strategy.
Yeah.
You know, by not addressing the rumors directly, she maintains control over the narrative.
So in the middle of all this contract drama, she releases a new music video for The Most Touching Time. And it's a hit.
Yeah, over 1 million views with minimal promotion.
That's wild.
I know it really speaks to her dedicated fan base that they're there for her music regardless of any of this industry gossip.
Then there's that press conference. Her first public appearance in months.
Right.
Massive fan turnout, chanting slogans and everything. Even TVB executives and some of her co-stars were there to show their support.
It was a spectacle. It almost felt like a strategic move by TVB.
Yeah.
Like an attempt to demonstrate their support and maybe smooth things over.
You think?
You know, and they know they have a star on their hands.
Right.
And losing her to a competitor would be a big blow.
Makes you wonder if they're trying to renegotiate.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Maybe offer her a better deal to entice her to stay.
But maybe Gigi's ambitions just extend beyond what TVB can even offer.
Maybe.
I mean, she's already a huge name in mainland China.
Right.
Perhaps she's eyeing a more global presence.
Could be. And that brings us to Crystal Clear, her first English single.
Yes. Let's give our listeners a little taste of what that sounds like. So what do you think? Is this a sign that Gigi's ready to break into Western markets?
It's definitely a possibility. I mean, releasing an English single could be a very strategic step in that direction.
We've seen other cantopop artists attempt that crossover.
Right.
With varying degrees of success.
Exactly.
It'll be interesting to see what path Gigi takes.
Yeah, and you know, it's worth noting that she's not limiting herself to music either.
Right. You mentioned she's planning to study fashion at Polytechnic University.
Yeah.
I mean, that adds a whole other layer to her potential career trajectory.
For sure. Fashion icon, music superstar. I mean, she's clearly multi-talented and has a lot of options open to her.
Where do you think she goes from here?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
She's at a crossroads. She could choose to stay with TVB, you know, and have that security and that support. Or she could take a leap of faith and pursue a more independent path.
Based on everything we've talked about, what feels more likely to you?
It's hard to say for sure, but I think her recent move suggests a desire for more creative control. You know, releasing an English single exploring fashion and potentially distancing herself from TVB, it all kind of points to a shift in her career trajectory.
And, you know, this tension between staying with the established system versus branching out on your own.
Right.
I feel like that's a theme we see more and more these days.
Absolutely. It's not just limited to Gigi or the music industry.
Yeah.
We see it across so many fields, technology, media, even politics.
Right.
Younger generations are challenging the status quo, they're demanding change, and they're forging their own paths.
It's almost like Gigi's story is this microcosm of this larger cultural shift.
Exactly. And her story is far from over. What's so fascinating is how she'll navigate this next chapter.
Yeah.
Will she stay with TVB? Will she go independent? Will she find some kind of hybrid approach?
It's going to be exciting to watch it all unfold.
It is.
Okay, so to bring it all back to our listeners, what can they take away from all of this? What's the key takeaway from Gigi's story?
Well, I think one of the biggest takeaways is the power of authenticity and self-determination. You know, Gigi has stayed true to her artistic vision, even when she's faced with these really difficult choices.
Right.
She's not afraid to take risks and explore different paths, and I think that's such an important message.
Absolutely. Especially for young people who are trying to figure out their own careers and aspirations.
For sure. And it's a reminder that success doesn't always follow a linear path.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's about embracing the unknown and forging your own way.
Yeah, it's really inspiring to see somebody so young making these bold moves. You know, looking back at her journey, it's clear that Gigi's always been super determined to achieve her goals. Remember how she moved to Hong Kong?
Right.
To live with her aunt and uncle while her parents stayed in mainland China? I mean, that kind of separation at such a young age couldn't have been easy.
Oh, absolutely. It speaks volumes about her dedication and her drive to leave her family behind and pursue her dreams in a whole new environment. I mean, that takes a lot of courage.
Yeah, it really does. And now she's navigating this complex world of contracts and fame and creative ambition. I mean, that's a lot for anybody to handle, let alone somebody in their late teens.
And it's all happening in this rapidly changing industry, too.
Right.
The rise of social media and streaming platforms has really given artists so many more options now. They can build their own fan bases independently. They can release music without a label, even.
Right.
And they can connect with their audience directly.
So in a way, Gigi's situation is kind of a reflection of this larger shift in power that's happening in the
Yeah.
music industry.
Exactly. She's at the forefront of this evolution, and I think her choices could really influence how other young artists approach their careers going forward.
So what does all of this mean for you, dear listener?
Yeah.
What can you take away from Gigi's story?
Well, I think Gigi's journey is a reminder that success doesn't always follow, a predictable path.
Right.
Sometimes it's about embracing the unknown, taking risks, trusting your instincts.
Having the courage to forge your own path, even if it means challenging the status quo.
Exactly. And remember, authenticity is key. People connect with genuine passion and individuality. I mean, Gigi's success stems from her unique talent and her willingness to experiment, and her determination to stay true to herself.
I think that's a great note to end on. Don't be afraid to be yourself. Pursue your passions and never stop exploring new possibilities. And hey, if you're curious to learn more about Gigi Yim, I highly recommend checking out her music. Her voice is incredible, and her songs offer a glimpse into her evolution as an artist. Start with Without You, But Still Love You, the performance that kind of launched her career.
Yeah.
Then give her English, single, crystal clear listen.
And keep an eye on her journey, because who knows, maybe one day we'll be doing another deep dive on Gigi Yim, the global fashion icon.
Ooh, I like that.
Or maybe even Gigi Yim, the independent music mogul. The possibilities are endless.
That's right. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.